Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna. Everyone please sing. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, युगधर्म हरिनाम संकीर्तन की ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्यईश्वरम्। Hare Krishna, welcome everyone for the level 2 FOE Festival of Enlightenment. Somehow I'm giving consecutive sessions for this batch here. So as we always been telling in level 2 that these sessions are not time pass. By today's session you'll understand how it is not time pass. Today's session we're going to discuss principles of Gita, but then we're going to have a roller coaster ride today. And the topic is the naked truth of life. सब नंगे हो जाएंगे. And all glories to Srila Prabhupada, जिनने सबको नंगा किया. Once Srila Prabhupada was there in a place, and when he went there, no one was there, no audience came. So Prabhupada sat and then he started singing Jai Radha Madhav Kunja Bihari. Closed eyes, singing. And then when he opened his eyes, he saw that everyone is naked in front of him. In West, at that time, hippie culture, so whatever they were doing, so all naked people were sitting in front of him. So Prabhupada's wittiness, you see, Prabhupada said, oh, this is very nice, you people are naked, but still you people don't know that you're wearing something, because you're spirit, soul, and you're wearing this body. So give up this body also by practicing Krishna consciousness. So Srila Prabhupada, he never budged an inch in keeping the truth in front of people. Never. Even in front of scientists, if some scientist is saying something, so at that time, you rascal, what are you speaking? No, direct. Once Srila Prabhupada was giving a class. So what happened is a person was supposed to give him a land for ISKCON. So next day, his guru, some Swami, was going to come to give class. So Prabhupada was also invited. Now this person was not knowing that Prabhupada will also speak. So Prabhupada said, okay, I'm ready to speak. So that guru was also there, sitting. Then I'm ready to speak. So this person, what he did was, he bought a plastic chair and he kept it. So disciples of Srila Prabhupada was very annoyed with this. Our Guru Maharaj was sit on plastic chair. So there was a big Vyasasana kept for his Guru. So they got that and kept it, and then Srila Prabhupada sat on that. And this person didn't feel good about it. He felt maybe he'll speak for 10-15 minutes and get lost. So Prabhupada spoke 1.5 hours. He spoke for 1.5 hours. And then after that, he got to understand that, okay, the other person has to speak now. Then he got down. Then he sat on the chair. And this Swami came. And Prabhupada was just closing his eyes and hearing whatever he was saying peacefully. He was speaking all various different things of this material world and all that. The point came where he deviated from the philosophy. And Prabhupada opened his eyes wide open and he said, let's start Kirtan. And suddenly, out of nowhere, all the disciples came on the dais and suddenly Kirtan started. This Swamiji is wondering what's wrong. And then the person who invited Prabhupada, he got really annoyed. And then he called the disciples to his room and he said, I'm not giving you all the land. So at that time, Srila Prabhupada was told about this. Prabhupada is not giving us the land. Prabhupada said, no problem. If Krishna wants, he'll give. At least he got the right philosophy. So Prabhupada never bothered. Land mil raha hai, paisa mil raha hai, kuch nahi. What he bothered about was the right truth or the right philosophy should be kept in front. The truth should be kept as it is. And when the truth is given as it is, people can actually advance in bhakti. Before Prabhupada also many people went to West. Many Swamis went to West. But what Prabhupada did, they couldn't do because Prabhupada never compromised on anything. Aisa hai to aisa hi hai. There's no question. There's no question. Right? So today's topic is like that. So मैंने background prepare किया है. So naked truth of life in front. So what happens at times is, because I'm going to speak from Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam does not care what people think, what people's pre-notions are or whatever. Whatever is the truth, we have to understand. So she just keeps everything. Bhagavatam keeps everything in front. Through various realistic pastimes which have happened, in the past, in the history. So today we're going to discuss a very important pastime from Srimad Bhagavatam, a story or a pastime of a personality called King Chitraketu. So you can remember the names, some few names will come, so that will help you to correlate or connect what I'm saying. So King Chitraketu, he was the king of the entire world. But then, even after having everything, see, we will not understand what you mean by king of the entire world. For us, वो थोड़ा appraisal थोड़ा ज़्यादा मिल गया, थोड़ा increment 2% ज़्यादा मिले, we're happy. We think we are done. Some package of 5, जिसका 5 package उसका 15 हो गया, extremely happy. He feels he's the king of the world. But actually we don't know what he means by king of the world. Entire world is under this person. Entire world. All the kings are under him. So many servants to serve him. Everything is set. So many beautiful wives. They were able to maintain. अभी एक को मेंटेन नहीं किया जा सकता. Very difficult. That's the reason I'm here. No risk. But then King Chitraketu, बताइए, even after having everything in this world materially, can we be happy? Huh? He had everything, everything matlab everything materially, but still he was not happy. He was lamenting. You know what was lamentation all about? He had so many wives, but then everyone was barren. It means no one was able to beget a child. Now he had everything in life, but then that one thing, that I don't have a child, that made his life miserable. Yes, the entire body is good, one toothache makes our life miserable. Have you seen that? And our mind will go only to that which is not there in our life. That's how this entire world is arranged. Everything will be there, just one thing missing, and the entire life becomes miserable. And then if you ask that person, so how are things at your end? Not good. Why? You're not getting food to eat? No, I'm getting food to eat. Oh, someone removed you from your house? No. You have your job? Yeah. Your family members have died? No, they are alive. Then what is the problem? Then some small problem they will tell. Some small problem here and there. And life is not good. So this is exactly how the material world is. Exactly. Never we can think that in this material world we will be satisfied and happy only on the material platform. And that was the case of Chitraketu Maharaj. सब कुछ है, लेकिन he was always morose and always lamenting that I don't have a son, and because of him the entire kingdom was sad. He was saying king was sad, the entire kingdom was sad looking at him. So whenever people are sad in this material world, great people enter their life if they're sincere. And here, a great sage called Angira, he came to the place of Chitraketu. Sage Angira is one of the very great saints in the pages of Bhagavatam, in the pages of Puranas. Now, when any sage comes, any great personality comes, the first thing is he's offered a nice reception. Nice things are spoken, glorified. So whenever someone comes to the place, at least bare minimum things should be done. Right? Because we belong to a land of culture, a land where Atithi is treated as Deva. Right? What do you mean by Atithi? वो तो इंग्लिश ट्रांसलेशन है. अतिथि को ब्रेक करके बताइए. ब्रेक कर दिया. अतिथि, तिथि मतलब सम टाइम. तिथि मतलब टाइम. अतिथि मतलब no fixed time. So it just comes without giving any time. Just अतिथि. तो उसको कहते हैं अतिथि. सही है ना? When I heard for the first time, I was very happy. There's a lot of meaning, अब गेस्ट का मतलब बताइए क्या है? गेस्ट को ब्रेक करके बोलेंगे कुछ? Poor language. English is a poor language. What to do? So anyways, so when Atithi comes, according to our Vedic culture, we have this Atithi Devo Bhava. And then that's how people would write outside the house. And people would treat also like that. And with time it became Shubh Labh. Sab Labh ghar pe aaye. And now outside people write, beware of dogs. They don't want anyone to come inside. And it's very dangerous also, no? You never know, who will come inside and उसको देव जैसा हम treat करेंगे, लेकिन अगर निकला दानव, तो what will we do? But the bare minimum thing, if we know the person, what we're supposed to do. Say the person is very poor, he's not able to do anything. At least bare minimum, nice kind words should be spoken. Welcome, very nice you came, or whatever. Like when Bhishma Dev was on the bed of arrows, so many great personalities came. It is said Bhishma Dev received them well. So he stuck on the arrows, bed of arrows. How did he receive them well? By his kind words. He received them well. So in whatever situation we are, in that situation, aptly we should receive the guests. And then the next thing, no, okay, if you are capable, then at least give a place to sit. ऐसे खड़े रह के हाँ बता क्या है? That's not correct. At least in the spiritual circles, we should follow this. And then give some glass of water at least, if not food, right? So like this, when it comes to this great personality, Chitraketu, he invited him, he offered obeisances, he gave eatables, he glorified him. And after all this, Sage Angira is asking, सब ठीक है ना लाइफ में? तो क्या बोला रहेगा अंगिरा ने, सॉरी चित्रकेतु ने? हैं? बड़ा दुख है. So I'll just read from the text I've written here in my notes directly from Bhagavatam. Chitraketu was in no mood to hear any good instruction from the sage. His mind was continuously absorbed in lamentation of not having son. Now, samne, there's a great personality sitting, but then, when the mind is absorbed in something, that's what happens. ऐसा होता है ना आप लोग के साथ भी. सैटरडे यहाँ बैठे ऐसे मुंडी तो हिला रहे ऐसे ऐसे करके, और जब सब हंसते तो आप भी हंस लेते थोड़ा. But then the mind is absorbed somewhere else. You'll not be able to pay attention to what Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam are saying, right? And then when the sage inquired about this, the king said, just here, the statement is very nice. Instead of I speaking, I'll read. Wealth and kingdom were like beautiful garland and sandalwood pulp for a hungry man, as they cannot satisfy his hunger. Now just imagine you come to the center, you're very hungry. Previous day you didn't have even water. And then you come and come to the center, and then you meet me, and then you tell me that, Prabhuji, yesterday I fasted, I didn't eat anything. Oh, amazing. Come, sit. And then I go to the altar, get the Mahaprasad garland, put it across your neck. And then get some chandan, put it on your forehead. And then give some flowers for smelling. Kafi hai na? The person will think, Prabhuji ka khisak kya lagta hai? I told him I'm hungry. So here he's saying that all the opulence that I have in my life, they're like the garland and the sandalwood pulp, which will not satisfy the hunger of a hungry man. And the sage understood. And he obviously told also that what is his lamentation? I don't have a son. I have so many wives, all of them are beautiful, but no one is able to beget a son. So here is some question to answer. So when we meet a saint, what are we supposed to do? I'll give 4 options, so you all can tell. Padhiye koi? One person read.
Receive him well with the sitting place obeisances, words of praise and truths. Hear his instructions and apply it in our life. Beg the saint for a son or a good yield of crop or wealth, as saints are pathful. Be attracted to one's worries and refuse to hear any good instructions.
Boliye.
A
A and B? C also is okay, no? No. D is best. Yes, A and B. See, finally, when we meet great personalities, spiritual personalities, we have to hear instructions. Baki kya karenge leke, right? Because see, to get the association of great saints itself is very, very difficult. Very difficult, right? Okay, next question. If one becomes the king of the world or multi-millionaire, king तो समझेगा नहीं आप लोग को, इसलिए मैंने multi-millionaire भी डाला है. Say you become multi-millionaire. ऐसा नहीं, मतलब हो भी सकता है, नहीं तो नहीं भी हो सकता है, मतलब ऐसा. Someone read?
Then he attains complete happiness as everything and everyone is at his command. He still suffers from missing something in his life. Thus, wealth is not cause of happiness. He feels there is nothing more to be attained in life, as he has reached the top position. He may then be able to accept any good instruction by any saint who may visit him.
बोलिए, which option is correct? A नहीं है, multi-millionaire.
थोड़े फेस के लिए होगा.
थोड़े फेस के लिए. मतलब ऐसा complete happiness बोला ना, complete.
जब वो खुश होगा तो थोड़ी तो 1 सेकंड के लिए तो मतलब
1 second. But 1 second से क्या करेंगे? It's almost like you're in a desert and someone gives you 1 drop of water. B. He still suffers from missing something in his life. And what about D? What about D?
ईगो आ जाएगा.
He may be able to accept. Ego आ जाएगा. And say ego नहीं भी है. So should we wait for our material situations to modify and become good to hear instructions from a saint? Should we wait? Because we don't know. कभी situations ठीक होगा. This material world is known. This entire material world is known for its wonderful trait. And what is that? Never anyone in this world can become settled. Try करके देखिए, नहीं होगा. Because this world is moving. The entire thing is moving, and everything is moving with Kala. You remember Kal Chakra session? Everything is moving. And everything is moving towards what? Prosperity or destruction? Everything is moving, including our body. It's moving towards destruction. So in this way, it hardly matters materially what we are. जितना है कर्मा में उतना ही आएगा. कितना भी मेहनत कर लो. That's the fact. There's a nice shloka in Bhagavatam. Tasyaiva heto prayateta kovido na labhyate yad brahmatad uparyada tallabhate dukkhavad anyata sukham kalena sarvatra gabira ramasa. It is said, the way the distress comes in our life uninvited, similarly happiness comes uninvited. So people who are intelligent don't bother much about both. Because आने ही वाला है कुछ ना कुछ तो why take tension? Therefore, that personality who is realized like this, he focuses more on spiritual life and not the matter of this world. Anyway, what is supposed to come will come. It's a very, very important thing. So today morning, one of my students was asking me this question. So should we pay more attention to growing in our career, or should we pay more attention to spiritual life? Both are important. But then I said, if you pay more attention to your spiritual life and when you're stable within, anyways you're going to excel on the other side also. Right? But if you pay more attention there here, anyways you cannot excel. ऐसा हो सकता है क्या? करियर पे ध्यान दो, स्पिरिचुअल अपने आप जप हो जाएगा, नहीं? But this the other way around is correct. Other way around, no, a lot of things will happen. Therefore, it's very important that we understand that even if we have everything in material life, still something will be missing. Always. Let's come back to the pastime. So Angira Rishi, he said, okay, I will bestow a son to you. These sages were very powerful, very powerful. Just by their words and mantras, they could manifest anything and everything. So it's a very important thing to note that Angira Rishi, when he said this, can you imagine Chitraketu? What was his situation? Extremely happy. Extremely happy. उसने ऐसे नहीं बोला चल झूठे क्या बोला? He was extremely happy because in the Vedic culture, if a pure saint says something, it has to happen. It has to happen. You know? And these people had complete faith. Complete. When Hiranyakashipu was doing tapasya, so at that time, the Devi Devtas, they attacked Lanka. No, sorry, Hiranyakashipu kahan the? They attacked Hiranyakashipu's palace, not Lanka. So at that time, Kayadu was there, the wife of Hiranyakashipu, and she was pregnant. Now Indra, he caught her and then he was dragging her out to his place. So the point was that he did not want to kill her, but he wanted to kill the baby inside the womb. But then it's a known fact in Vedic culture, a baby in the womb cannot be killed. Abortion is sinful. Person has to rot like anything in the hell for that. So Indra didn't kill. Indra said, okay, I'll take her and wait till the baby is born and then I'll kill the baby. Mother ne kuch kiya to nahi. But I'm predicting that this baby might be second Hiranyakashipu, junior. Then he was just dragging her. At that time, Narada Muni comes there. And Narada Muni tells, wait. You know who is there in the womb of this lady? A great personality called Prahlad. And just by hearing that, Indra ne pucha nahi, kaise pata tumhe? He didn't ask. Just by hearing the words of Narada Muni, you know what he did? He left Kayadu and he circumambulated Kayadu and paid obeisance to her. Oh, you are such a great personality, and a great personality is there in the womb. Like this, people had faith, in the words of sadhus. And sadhus were pure like that. And here when Angira said, he was very happy. And a sacrifice was arranged, a special sacrifice. And this special sacrifice was very nice. Because Angira Muni, he arranged special sacrifice to all the Devi Devtas. And then he offered remnants of the sacrificial food to one of the queens. See, there were many queens. But the principal queen's name was Krita Dyuti. Wife of Chitraketu, Krita Dyuti. That was the name of Angira's wife. Chitraketu's wife. Now this remnant, the prasad of that sacrifice was given to her. And Angira Muni said, listen, this dialogue is very nice. He says, "O great king, you will now have a son who will be the cause of both jubilation and lamentation." You will get a son who will be the cause of both jubilation and lamentation. Now, see, since he didn't have a son, king was extremely happy. He forget about lamentation. At least now I'm in jubilation. I'm happy. But then he started thinking after that, what was Angira saying? Maybe, I understand the first thing, if child is born, I'll be happy. But why will I lament? Maybe it's the known fact that after me, he will become the king. Maybe he'll become proud and arrogant. Maybe because of that, I might lament. I might become sad. Now like this he was thinking. But baat to kuch aur tha. So Angira Muni, he had told this. And in due course, a son was born to Chitraketu and Kritadyuti. And guess what? What was the name of the son? What was the name of the son of Chitraketu and Kritadyuti? He kept the name as Harshashok. Harsh means jubilation and Shok means lamentation. क्योंकि आगे चल के मिलने वाला था हर्ष और शोक दोनों. So he kept the name as Harsh Shok. So in this way, when Angira Muni said this and the child was born, can you imagine now Chitraketu's situation? He was so happy. We cannot understand now how much happiness Chitraketu got. Suppose a person is not getting a job and then he gets a job, now 50 lakhs package. वो भी बहुत कम था उसके सामने. He was so happy, so happy. So here we understand Chitraketu was so happy, and because of his happiness, his wife was happy, Kritadyuti, and entire kingdom was happy. But some people were still not happy. Who were they? My God, you people know it. It is actually my conviction and confidence that this story is known to everyone. So I asked some questions, very difficult to answer, and people know it. All glories to Bollywood. By their Bollywood ने यहाँ से चुरा की movie बनाया, and then that's how the entire movie scenes are. Now what happened is Chitraketu, but natural, he'll go to this queen's palace again and again, and then he'll see the baby, he'll see the queen, and he was very attached. And he neglected all the other queens. They neglected all the other queens. They were feeling neglected, they were feeling disgusted, frustrated. What will be the next scene according to you? Boliye, what will be the next scene according to you? The wives were all disgusted and they were like, my God, you said that. That's what they did. They all came together. They had a meeting. They said, who is the cause of our distress? Someone said Chitraketu. No, it's not Chitraketu. It is Harsha Shok. And then they decided, we will kill him. And then they gave him poison. Chalo, some questions. Why did Chitraketu desire a son despite sage warning him that son will give him trouble? Understood the question? Okay, someone read.
He was attached to having a son, even if his son would be proud or arrogant. He thought a bad son is better than having no son. His blind attachment to having a son overpowered his reason. Thus, he could not understand the sage Guru's instruction. He thought troubles and trials are stepping stone to success for a devotee of the Lord.
Boliye.
A and C.
A, he was attached, and C. And C. Previously, in the karma sessions, I would ask this question. So, a person who is enemy in the past life becomes what in the current life of ours? And many times, people would say spouse. But now it has changed. Now when I ask now, people say kids. Kids have become demonic, really, troubling parent like anything. And here we understand, this Chitraketu was so attached to the son. Wherever, always remember this, wherever attachment is there, very soon, that same attachment will bring sorrow. Great sorrow. So wherever attachment is, this problem comes. Therefore, attachment to anything material of this world is a problem. You know why? Because one or the other day it will go away. So, nothing is going to remain with us. Nothing. Sometimes, if you sit and meditate on this, it's like, अरे बाप रे, everything is मोह माया. मतलब वो 2 मिनट के लिए लगेगा ऐसे. उसके बाद फिर से मोह माया में घुस जाते हैं. Literally, that's a fact, no? You just think about it. Take this time, whatever 1 hour we have now. Just think about it. Everything that we have around is actually, you people come ahead. Don't sit behind, come ahead. Make some space for them, come here. Sit on these mats. Get up and come. Yeah. And that's a fact, anything that is there, it will go away. Now just imagine, I'm attached to something. And when that is taken away, obviously I'll feel pain. Right? You know what is the pain of death? Shastras say 60,000 scorpions biting at one time. That is the pain of death. But sometimes when people die, due to heart attack or something, people say, oh, he passed away so peacefully. Yeah, they say also. And the people wish also, I want to pass away like this.
Every death.
Every death.
But बहुत लोग सोते नहीं मरते हैं.
वही तो मेरा क्वेश्चन है. शास्त्र कहता है कि 60,000 scorpions are biting at one time. That is the pain everyone goes through. But then what you are saying is also correct. सोते सोते मर जाते हैं. तो बाहर वालों को लगता है, outside people feel they have passed peacefully, but inside what is happening only that person knows. You know what's happening? He's completely attached to this body. He's attached to everything that is connected to this body. And when the Yamadutas pull the soul out of the body, जो tug of war है ना, नहीं मैं नहीं छोड़ूंगा, and नहीं निकल. That tug of war gives the pain of 60,000 scorpions biting at one time. सोचिए, आपने नया मोबाइल खरीदा है, and then you go out, and when you come back, and then you touch your pocket and it's not there. कैसे लगेगा? अच्छा लगेगा ना? हर्ष शोक. Yes, like almost like the heart will come in the mouth and in your hand. That's how it will be. Now just imagine, एक मोबाइल की बात चल रही है यहाँ. But now we're talking about entire thing, entire life, whatever we have amassed. Wealth, property, relationships, everything is going to end at that time. So जब खींचा जाता है ना स्पिरिट सोल को बाहर, वो यमपाश क्यों डालते हैं? What is the need of यमपाश? खींचने के लिए. And then he's like, no, I'll not come out. And then, no, you have to come out. And then इतना खींचते हैं उसको. That the pain that is there is on a subtle platform. इसलिए बाहर वालों को दिखता नहीं है. मतलब कितना पुण्य किया था इसने. देखिए सोते सोते मर गया. अरे भाई सब पापी है इस दुनिया में. कोई सोते सोते अच्छे से नहीं मरेगा. Everyone on the subtle platform is going to suffer like anything. Right? So attachment in this world to anything is actually a great pain. A great pain. Elevated souls, for them Yamadutas don't come, no. Krishna comes, chalo beta, let's go. Hey, mere papa aa gaya, and then he jumps out of the body and goes. Something like that. Yes. Next question. What happened when Chitraketu could not contain his joy? Someone read.
He became very attached to Prabhuji and child Harsha and ignored other words. He was unaware of what co-wives were feeling in their hearts and thus neglected them. Everyone, including Prabhuji's co-wives as well as citizens, also experienced great joy. The co-wives of Prabhuji had increasing envy that led to poisoning the child.
Yes, boliye. Which all options are correct?
B and B.
B, A, B, D. C is also correct, no? Everyone, including co-wives. Yes, co-wives. So yes, A, B, and D. So, anyways, आप लोगों के साथ तो होगा नहीं ये सब. एक कोई संभालना है तो टेंशन नहीं है. Now, let's come back to the past time. The child is dead. The child is dead. Kritadyuti does not know. Chitraketu does not know. But few people know. The co-wives. And when the servant who takes care of the child. So Kritadyuti told the servant, "Hey, go and see, he's sleeping for a long time. Where is Harshashok? Wake him up." And then she goes there, to that place. And when she goes there, at that time, the servant, she sees that the eyes are wide open, but the, the eyeball, it has gone up. And there's foam in the mouth of the child. And there are no symptoms of life. Servant has seen this. And when she sees that, she bangs her breast and then she's shouting, I am dead today. She is the one not taking care. I am dead today. सबको अपना अपना ही प्रॉब्लम होता है. वो बेचारा मर गया, उसका कुछ नहीं. I am dead today. I am dead today. And she is horrified. But still she got some cotton swabs to check. And then she understood, gone. And she was crying there only. She didn't go and tell the queen. And when the queen, she will, Arey, itna late kyun ho gaya? Why she is not getting my child? Then queen came. And then she saw, she is crying. And then she hurried to the cradle. And then she saw in the cradle, the child is dead. Now just imagine Kritaditi's situation. In the great lamentation, her hair and dress in disarray, the queen fell to the ground unconscious. Because they were so very attached. अभी तक चित्रकेतु को पता नहीं चला, by the way. Kritaditi only she has got to know. Tell, what should we learn from the sad situation of Queen Kritaditi and King Chitraketu? Someone read.
Sage Amira could have given a son who would have lived longer and saved the situation.
यही पहला यही लगेगा हम लोग को. इतना मगज क्यों पहले दे देता. Second.
We should also feel sad in this situation of tragedy. After all, any human would feel that way. Jubilation and lamentation are laws of material world. One should remain undisturbed. Lamentation follows material jubilation in this world. Better take to Krishna consciousness and go back to Godhead.
Yes. बोलिए. Option number
C. And C and D.
C and D. This, you know what? This everyone cannot do. A person who is a materialist will always jump in ecstasy when he is jubilation, and he'll go underground burying himself when he is in lamentation. But only a spiritualist who is advanced in bhakti, that person will remain equipoised. He'll tell also, chalta hai. Our Harikshadapu, and everyone knows Harikshadapu. So Harikshadapu was sharing one experience. So one of Prabhupada's disciples, direct disciples, His Holiness Bhanu Swami Maharaj, he was there and he was supposed to go to some foreign country for preaching. So Maharaj gave Prabhuji passport. When his passport was xeroxing. So Prabhuji kept that in the office itself. Prabhuji kept that for xeroxing and all that. And when he was removing, the passport torn into two halves. Now Prabhuji was like, I'm gone now. This person is supposed to fly and this has happened. And then, he went to Maharaj and then he told Maharaj that, Maharaj, sorry, this, while xeroxing, this got torn into two halves. Then Maharaj took it in the hand and he put it and then, okay, what to do? And then he went. And I've seen this many times, with my superiors. Kya kare, ho gaya. But this हो गया, क्या करे हो गया, ये डायलॉग तो बोल सकते हैं सब लोग, बट जो अंदर होता है ना, जो हो रहा होता है उस टाइम पे हो गया तो मुंह से बोल दिया, लेकिन कुछ तो हो रहा है अंदर. That is very difficult to remove. Only a spiritualist can remove. This statement that one should remain undisturbed is not easy. Only when someone is attached to Krishna by practicing bhakti, that person will remain undisturbed. Tell me, in all our lives, lamentation and jubilation is part of it, no? कुछ ना कुछ तो होगा. कुछ ना कुछ बड़ा भी होने वाला है सबके लाइफ में. ऐसा नहीं कि सब बचे रहेंगे एकदम. Everything is going smooth, it will remain smooth. No, it's not going to happen like that. You never know what karma is waiting for us. Right? One of my student, उसका layoff हो गया. He was very happy when he got the job. He came and said, Prabhuji, I got job. And then after a few months, Prabhuji, I lost job. He was very, very sad. Very sad. And then उसका पैकेज कुछ X था, XL. And then उसको कुछ पैकेज मिला X-3L next job में. You never know, anything can happen. COVID time, there were so many families where everyone died, one person remained. Difficult situation. Anything can happen at any time. Today morning, one of my students came and he was telling that his friend, yesterday night, he was on the bike. He was going, so he's fearful of dogs, it seems. Some dog started barking, and then he increased. an accelerator, and then there was a sudden brake, and then he fell. It seems there are stitches on the head and chin and hands and all that. Very badly hurt. So you never know what will happen, at what time. Something can happen to us, something can happen to family members, who knows? सब लोग का अपना अपना कर्मा है ना, सबका अपना अपना बैग है कर्मा का, तो उसमें से कभी क्या निकलेगा, no one knows. So unnecessarily we shouldn't remain like a cat. When the cat enters the kitchen, it closes its eyes and drinks all the milk, thinking no one is watching me. Ostrich, when the lion or tiger chases, ostrich will run for a good amount of time because very fast, no? But when it gets tired, it will put its head in the ground and think, oh, now nothing will happen. We shouldn't remain like that in this material world. Sometimes people say, why such sadistic talks? Why such talks, negative talks? These are not negative talks, they are facts of life, which we should know. ऐसे नहीं कि जियो जब तक ना ignorance में जियो और जब कुछ होता है तो एकदम depression में आके suicide कर लो. What is this? Right? So a spiritualist will never get into all this. A spiritualist who is advancing in bhakti, his consciousness is high, that person will not get swayed by all this. I saw this live, one of my student, he's elder than me by 15 years, but still he's my student. So he lost his father recently. And when I went, it was Vellore. We had gone to Vellore. That was his house. So from here, one day we started when we got to know. So when we went there, when we came there, me and Harish Prabhu, he came out of the house smilingly, he's welcoming us. And then he took Prabhuji, come here, the dead body is kept here. Then we offered our obeisances with garlands and all that. And then we were standing there. He was smiling and talking. Yesterday he passed away. And then I said, Prabhuji, preaching and all is going well now. How are things? How was the program? And I could see that least affected. But he was doing all the duties that was needed. His mother was sitting and crying, and then he was telling his mother, why are you crying? Everyone has to go. Let's think about what Father did for us so wonderfully. This needs guts. This needs realization. This comes only with spiritual practice. कितना भी novels पढ़ लो, कितना ही motivational talks attend कर लो, कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा उससे. Because motivational talks are like painkillers. थोड़ा ठीक रहेगा. But the real medicine is spiritual enlightenment. Always remember this. The real medicine is spiritual enlightenment, and that's what we are doing in Festival of Enlightenment. Every single student who comes to our session, we want every single student to become like this, undisturbed, and always progressing on the path to such an extent that just by looking at that person, others should get inspired. So, but this is only a spiritualist can do. Kritaditya was crying so much, and this news went to Chitraketu. And when Chitraketu heard, my God, who can actually understand Chitraketu's pain? Itne mehnat se he got one child, Harsha, but now Shok. He heard that, and then he almost became blind. He started running towards the palace of Kritadyuti, but then he was blind. He was falling, getting up, and then bumping into some wall again, getting up, going, running to that place. And when he reached that place, and when he just saw the child and he fell unconscious. All the ministers were there, everyone was there. His court's officers and everyone. And when he saw the child unconscious. कौन क्या करेगा उस टाइम पे? Tell me, who has the power to bring back the child to life? No one. All hefty ministers are standing there, all strong, everything is there. He has got all the wealth of the world. But then क्या करेंगे? पैसे थोड़ी खिलाएंगे अभी बच्चे को जिंदा करने के लिए. It's all gone. But when he regained his consciousness, his eyes were filled with tears. And he was going mad and mad and mad. See, when it comes to males, वो शांति से रोके खत्म कर देते हैं. But females don't do that. They do vilap. Vilap means?
Prolonged sadness.
But when they cry, so is it the same like what the males cry?
No.
Then what do?
They are crying, they are telling something.
Yeah, they'll speak, they'll tell stories and then they'll cry. And here Kritadyuti was doing that. Kritadyuti, see, she was already crying looking at the child. Now looking at this pathetic situation of Chitraketu, she was going mad, completely mad. And the first thing, when something like this happens, the first thing, whom do people blame? Whom do people blame when such critical situations are there in life? ऊपर वाले. ऐसे क्यों किया तूने मेरे साथ? Yes. And the person who's on the above floor is saying, मैंने तो कुछ नहीं किया. Who is that? She started saying, oh Providence, during the lifetime of the father you have caused the death of his son. You are certainly the enemy of the living beings and are not at all merciful. अभी देखिए, when the boy was born, she never told, oh Lord, thank you so much, you're so merciful. It's a natural tendency of ours to be ungrateful in life. Natural tendency of every person in this world is we are ungrateful for whatever Lord has given us. And even people you see, no? Many times people say, Prabhuji, मैंने इतना कुछ किया उसके लिए उसको याद भी नहीं है. Have you seen that? Have you experienced it in your life? Yeah? But same thing is for us also. No, भगवान ने इतना कुछ किया हमारे लिए, हमें याद है क्या? We take it for granted every single thing. Yeah? This is how it is. We are very ungrateful. When something good happens, at that time we are not telling the Lord, oh Lord, thank you so much, you gave it. But then most of the time, when there's a critical situation, negative phase of life, at that time, why me? Why didn't you ask the same question, when you got the job and promotion and this and that? Why me? That boy was much better than me. You could have given him, no, Lord. No. When we are going through tough phase, why me? When layoffs are happening and if we are removed, why me? He could have been removed. This is exactly how ungrateful and foolish and stupid living entities are of this material world. Just imagine you have done a lot for some person. And then something you are not able to give that person because of your incapability. And the person says, you have done nothing for me. How will you feel? How will you feel? But here, Lord has done everything and after that He is saying, you are cruel, you are enemy. This is called as ungrateful attitude of a living entity. And you know what is the qualification of a person who is eligible to attain liberation? He is grateful to the Lord in every single situation. Always grateful. In bad situations, what is the mood, He says, oh Lord, I was supposed to get this much. But you have given me only a token of it. And oh Lord, I don't deserve so much of happiness. But it's your mercy that I've got. This is the mood of a spiritualist. And he remains equipoised. And always dependent on the Lord. And he understands whatever I'm going through is because of my karma. And in this situation, what am I supposed to do? Just depend on the Lord. That's what he does. This is the mood that all of us need to develop with practice of bhakti. Just by hearing the class, it will not happen. We have to practice every day. Every day chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. What do you say while chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra? The Mahamantra, but the mood of the Mahamantra is, oh Lord, please engage me in your service. And by the mantra meditation, the person develops dependence on the Lord in every single situation. Every single situation. But then if you're not practicing, don't get ready. We can be the next Chitraketu or Kritadyuti. You never know who we will be. Right? Or we can be the co-wife also. We can harm someone for our own selfish motive. Right? So it's very, very important to go deep in spiritual life. Jab tak nahi karenge, just imagine, spiritual life is not only for the end, next life ke liye. For this life also it is very, very important to go deep. Therefore it's very important to chant good number of rounds. 4 to 8 rounds for your level, yes, 4 to 8 rounds at least. No? 4 to 8 rounds minimum. And not missing these sessions at all. I wonder how people miss sessions. I wonder. Because these are the life-giving sessions, no? Because they are spoken from Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita. And every time when we come to session, it's not that it's waste. Every time there's a new realization. Every time there's enlightenment that we get. Right? I don't know if I had shared this with you. When I started attending the sessions in 2010, 2011. So I had to travel to my mentor's house for 1.5 hours to go to his place. First take a train, local train Mumbai, and then take a bus and then walk to his place. So I used to do this. Somehow by Lord's mercy, this was there in the mind, kuch bhi ho jaye, session miss nahi karna. So one day what happened, it was heavy rains. Very heavy rains. And Mumbai rains, you all know, once it starts raining, it doesn't stop. And then I got ready. It was Sunday evening. As जैसे ही तो time हो जाता था, I would फटाफट get ready. I was in second year of engineering at that time. And I would get ready, and then I was about to leave, and my parents were very much worried. अरे तू कहाँ जा रहा है इतने बारिश में? I said, no, I'm going for Gita class. And then my father and mother said, no, you're not going today. There's so much of rain outside. I don't know what happened to me. I suddenly started crying. No, I want to go, and crying tears. Can you imagine second year engineering students crying? And then my parents said, "Tu pakka satsang mein ja raha hai na? Tu pakka satsang mein ja raha hai ki kisse milne ja raha hai?" And that day I remember I somehow reached the place. मैं तो सुनने वालों में से नहीं था घर पे. Somehow I left, went there. My mentor opened the door, and he saw me wet. And like, you came today? I cancelled the class. People were staying in the building. I have not come. And you tried 1.5 hours. But then, one thing which I saw in my own life was whatever little bit practice I'm able to do or advance little bit. Not a very great person, but small. Whatever little I'm able to do is because of that consistency which I could maintain my initial days. Even today, I feel that. That's very, very important. And that helped a lot. And that day when I went, me and my mentor were only 2 people. So he gave me personal class that time. It was a very nice interaction with him. So I still relish that. He showed me how to dress the deities that day, how to tie turban to the Lord Jagannath. And he spoke a lot of things. We had a nice time together. So anyways, the point is this, that if we go deep in bhakti, then we'll not do all this. This is murder. Murdering oneself. Because the ungrateful attitude of ours when it manifests is basically murdering oneself, because the service mood towards the Lord will go away. भगवान ने मेरे लिए कुछ किया नहीं, मैं क्यों करूँ उनके लिए कुछ? Lord is not there. There is no God. This is what is the conclusion that people come to. No? People come to this conclusion. Yeah? And then she started. Now see, she became mad almost. So ऊपर वाले को तो बोल दिया. अभी जो मर गया उसको भी बोल रही है. So what did she say? My dear son, I am helpless and aggrieved. You should not give up my company. And then she said, how can you leave me? Just look at your lamenting father. You have slept for a long time. Now please get up. Your playmates are calling you to play. You must be very hungry. So please get up immediately and take your lunch. My dear son, I am most unfortunate. Look at the thoughts that she is getting, all mixed. My dear son, I am most unfortunate, for I can no longer see your sweet smiling face. You have closed your eyes forever. You have been taken from this planet to another place from which you will not return. My dear son, unable to hear your pleasing voice, I can no longer maintain my life. And with these dialogues, she was crying loudly, Chitraketu was crying loudly, and looking at the king and the queen crying, everyone else in the kingdom was crying. What do you think co-voice were doing? My God, you said that. They were also loudly crying. कैसे हो गया ये? अचानक से कैसे हो गया? All of them were crying. Maybe they're looking at each other and smiling a little bit, you never know. All of them were crying. Some questions. Why is Queen's cursing of Supreme Lord wrong? Buddy?
The Supreme Lord is not enemy of anyone. Everyone takes birth and death as per their karma, and Lord cannot be blamed for it. The Supreme Lord could not prolong the life of the child. For that, unnecessarily Queen should not have scolded the Lord. Even in the lifetime of father, a son can pass away if his time duration in his body is over. After all, everybody carries their own
Prarabdha.
prarabdha, karma, and lives results accordingly. Supreme Lord may not be aware of all these happenings, and he should not be unnecessarily blamed for the loss of a son.
बोलिए. A and C. B नहीं है. Supreme Lord could not prolong the life of the child. D देखिए. Supreme Lord may not be aware of all these happenings. So it's but obvious. We are just going through our own karma. This we have to be very clear about it. ऐसे innocent नहीं बनना चाहिए. पता नहीं क्यों मेरे लाइफ में ये सब हो रहा है. तू पापी है इसलिए हो रहा है तेरे लाइफ में. Yes, that's how it is. That's how it is. If someone has not done any paap, any sin, that person will not have any suffering. An example is Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj was tortured by Hiranyakashipu so much. But since he didn't have even a single trace of sin, nothing was affecting him. He was thrown from the cliff of the mountain, he was put in the ocean, he was put in the fire, elephants were trying to stamp on him, but nothing could affect him. No suffering. Because he had no sin. Simple. So any suffering that we are going through, always we should remember, मेरे पाप का घड़ा है जो slowly कम हो रहा है.
प्रभु सिर नहीं था इसलिए वो सब मतलब उनको कुछ नहीं हो रहा था क्योंकि वो
That is one of the reason, and Lord was already protecting him.
तो दोनों रीजन
दोनों.
तो लेकिन अगर सिर नहीं होता तो वो ऐसे राक्षस के घर में क्यों पैदा होता
कि भगवान को इनवाइट करके उसके बाप को मरवाने के लिए. Actually, there is a pastime, where a lot of things are put forward to teach all of us. So in that way. And there are always a lot of background. I have that also as a class. We'll discuss elaborately. Prahlad Maharaj's pastime. That is like, that will give goosebumps after goosebumps, hearing that pastime. Next level. अभी जा रहे हैं ना यात्रा पे. We are going for a retreat. July में जाएंगे. So that time we'll have that pastime. So anyway, so this is the point, So we shouldn't be overwhelmed and blame others. It's our own thing. It's our own sins. But when someone else is suffering, so what will say? तेरा पाप है ये भुगत. What will tell? We should help. We should sympathize. We should help. So one mother attended my class. Karma session था. पूरा attend की. But after 2 classes, she told me, my son is going through a lot of difficult phase. मैं तो छोड़ दी हूँ. अभी उसका कर्म है उसको भुगतने दो. I was like, well, my class was not for this. उसको भुगतने दो. So we should be very sensitive. A devotee is very sensitive. He does not want to hurt even an ant. What to talk about others? So like that. Next question. What do you infer from the talks of queens such as, you have slept for a long time, please get up, your playmates are calling you to play? Read.
She was probably misunderstanding that the child was still alive, so she said so. This shows her denial of the fact that child is gone due to her intense attachment to the child. When one is illusioned, then one speaks incoherently, imagining a dead relative to be alive. There was a likelihood of the son to get up, seeing mother's affection, so she called him.
B and C.
B and? Yes, B and C. This is what happens by intense attachment. Person goes mad. Right? Person goes mad. So once one person went to a mental asylum, and then he was just passing by, and then one boy, one man was crying out loudly, Layla, Layla, Layla. And then this person asked the doctor, what happened to him? So at that time the doctor said that he had a girlfriend named Layla, who chhod ke chali gayi. And then he was very sad. And after a few rooms again there was another person shouting, Layla, Layla, Layla. Now he was like, hey, ye kya ho gaya? What about this person? Then इसके साथ भागी थी. So when someone goes mad, you never know, what's going to happen. Now here the situation, can you imagine the situation of the entire kingdom? Everyone is sad. Everyone is crying. Chitraketu, he's not able to hold himself at all. What do you think next it will happen in the scene? बोलिए, सोचिए, what will happen next? Huh? My God, you said that? You people know the entire Bhagavatam through the Bollywood movies. And now, not just Angira, but along with that, he got his friend Narad Muni also. So both Angira and Narad Muni arrived in the palace of Chitraketu. And when they saw Chitraketu crying, they were compassionate, no doubt, but they were very angry also. And in anger, they started telling, "O king." Now this is very, very roller coaster for all of us to understand. So here, "O king, what relationship do you have with this child?" First question he is asking. You may say that you are now related as father and son, but do you think that this relationship existed before this birth? Does it truly exist now? Will it continue now that he is dead? O king, as small particles of sand sometimes come together and are sometimes separated due to the force of ocean waves, living entities who have accepted material bodies sometimes come together and are sometimes separated by the force of time. Very, very amazing lines. So here he is giving the example that what are you talking about? This child, where was he before? And where is he now? What relationship you have with this child? And then he gives this nice analogy about sand particles. Sometimes due to the waves of the river or the ocean, sometimes the sand particles will come together, sometimes it will separate. And you never know if they'll meet again. Sand particles, you never know the same sand particles will come or not together. Right? So in this way, Angira, he was shouting at him and anything. बच्चा तो इन्होंने दिया था. But then he wanted to help him to grow spiritually. Because, and always we should remember that when it comes to spiritual personalities, they'll always have a vision, for the people whom they are helping. And with that vision, they'll guide the person. Sometimes they'll chastise, sometimes they'll give instructions, sometimes they'll appreciate. And in all the cases, it is the mercy and blessings of the sage. In all the cases. And here we understand that Angira Muni was blasting at him like anything. Here is a question. What do you understand from the analogy of sand particles in the river? Padhiye.
Just as sand particles drown in a river, we are all drowning in the ocean of samsara. Just as sand particles are insignificant, we are all tiny living entities, we are not Lord. Just as sand particles are sometimes thrown to the bank, similarly, situation in this world sometimes drive us to the shelter of Lord and become liberated from this world. Just as sand particles come together and are separated by the force of ocean waves, living entities who have accepted material bodies sometimes come together and are separated by the force of time.
Boliye. Which options are correct? All. In this context, you have to see, not that you get all the philosophy together. In this context, which option? D. Yes. All are correct, no doubt. With respect to the sand particles, we can think about it. But in this context, it talks about how, by the force of time, people get separated. Right. Now after Angira, अभी उनके साथ नारद मुनि आए थे. So Angira stopped speaking, and Narad Muni did something. Narad Muni. Oh, by the way, what did Narad Muni do? He did something, and everyone was astonished. I know you all know it. Tell me. What is that? And that's the right answer. So Narada Muni, by his potency, he invoked the soul back in the body. And at that time, Narada Muni started speaking to the child. This is possible. Not the very big thing according to scriptures. He started saying, "Oh living entity, all good fortune unto you. Just see your father and mother. All your friends and relatives are overwhelmed with grief because of your death. Because you died untimely, the balance of your life still remains. Therefore, you may enjoy the remainder of years allotted to you in this body with your friends and relatives. And later you may accept the royal throne and all the opulence given by your father." So he's addressing and he's saying, "Why you have left? Come back. See, all of them are sad. All of them are sad. Come back." And then Harsha Shok speaks the naked truth. Here comes our topic for today. The naked truth of life. This dead person who came back to life is speaking. And he says, "According to the results of my activities, I, the living being," he's not saying he's Harsha Shok, he's saying, "I, the living being, Jivatma, transmigrate from one body to another, sometimes going to the species of demigods, sometimes to the species of lower animals, sometimes incarnating among vegetables and appearing sometimes in human species. Oh Narada Muni, please tell me, in which birth were these two people my father and mother? No one is actually my father and mother. I have had millions of so-called parents. How can I accept these two people as my father and mother?" Valid point. This is like the naked truth. And then it is said from the scripture, the Vedas teach that eternal living being enters a body made of material elements. So we have learned this in the, what you people have learned in level 1 sessions, no? Those are very, very high level of concepts. वो आप लोग को 5 साल बाद समझेगा. If you continue practicing nicely, you'll understand what have you learned in level 1. Those are very high level of concepts. Again, when you hear after 5 years level 1, you'll understand how deep every session is. ये तो समझ ही रहा already, it's deep. But if you hear this again, you'll understand how more deep it is, because the realizations increase, with time, with spiritual practice. And then here it is said, here we find that such living being entered a body produced by Chitraketu. However, he was not their son. The living entity is eternal son of whom? Lord Krishna. He is the eternal son of the Lord. Yes. And then, but because he wants to enjoy this material world, God gives him a chance to enter various bodies. Yet the pure living being has no true relationship with material bodies in this world. But he gets, with the material body he gets from his father and mother. Therefore the soul who has taken the body of Chitraketu's son flatly denied that king and queen are my parents. And that's a fact. So this body when we have got some set of personalities around us, some set of family members, some set of relatives. Since we have taken birth in India, we say Bharat Mata ki Jai. And Pakistan we could have taken birth, Pakistan Zindabad. That's how it is. It's just about where you have got the body. Simple, where you have got the body. Therefore, a spiritualist is not very much attached to various things related to this body. He knows, ये तो ये life के है. I remember when I joined monkhood, it was like I was about to join, and then my Hariksha Board took me to one senior devotee who had come to our center. And then he told, Prabhuji, he's planning to join monkhood. And then that devotee asked me, तुम्हारी शादी नहीं हुई है? बोला अभी तो बोला monkhood join करे, ऐसे क्यों पूछ रहे? And then he again asked, तुम्हारे बच्चे नहीं हैं? And then I remembered this past time. I remembered some concept like this. Prabhuji, I got married many, many times. I had many, many kids in the past. Correct. So now give this life for Krishna. Okay, Prabhuji. Okay, Prabhuji. And that's a fact. You know what? We are not doing anything new in this life. Nothing new. Same thing only, every lifetime same thing only we are doing. कुछ चेंज नहीं होने वाला है. ईटिंग, स्लीपिंग, मेटिंग, डिफेंडिंग, यही 4 एनिमलिस्टिक काम हम करते हैं. 4 एनिमलिस्टिक काम. Nothing new. Maybe some new technology we might learn to do the same 4 activities: eating, sleeping, mating, defending. That's it. Now we shouldn't hanker so much. I want this, I want that. Yes. When it comes to this age, people are, a lot of hankering is there for opposite gender to have sex. Many times we have already had. Not in just male body, sorry, human body. We have been animals like monkeys, dogs, hogs, worms, birds. We might have been females also in the past. Now we are there in this body, simple. We have done everything. Ho gaya sir. Ho gaya. One of my relatives was telling, "Arey, you're so young, you enjoy, no? Why are you doing all this?" Then I told the philosopher, मुझे लगा यहाँ भी काम करेगा. So I told him, many lifetimes I've done all this. वो मेरे से भी ज़्यादा चालू था. Then he said, but in this life you've not done, no. You know what? So when we understand this philosophy deeper, so at that time we go deeper, in our spiritual life. अरे हो गया वो सब कर लिया, अभी कुछ नया करना चाहिए. And what is it नया? नया is going deep in bhakti and attaining Krishna by breaking the cycle of birth and death. इसी में फंसे हुए एकदम चक्र में. Same चक्र of जन्म मृत्यु जरा व्याधि, birth, death, old age, disease, and same चक्र of eating, sleeping, mating, defending. यही किए जा रहे हैं हम लोग. कभी घास खाए थे, अभी इसी को पका के खा रहे. Same thing. We are not doing new. Nothing is new. Everything we have done. And this we understand from Shastra. Therefore we say Shastras enlighten us. Sadhus enlighten us. Sadhu means to cut. Sadhus cut our attachments. That's the meaning of sadhu. And Guru means heavy. Itna heavy कि bear नहीं होगा. Heavy. So in this way we understand that how this Harsha Shok, he's keeping the naked truth in life, and he's saying, you're saying parents, which life parents are you talking about? Sometimes I became demigods, sometimes I become animals, sometimes I become plants. Which life are you talking about? And why should I accept these two as my eternal parents? Because now the set of parents are going to change. But I as living entity, as spirit soul, I know my eternal parent is Krishna. And Krishna tells us in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 15, shloka 15. No, chapter 15, shloka 7. Mamai vamsho jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatanaha manasasthani indriyani prakritisthani karshati. Krishna is telling Arjun, oh Arjun, every single living entity is my part and parcel. And again in one of the chapters, Krishna is saying, Aham bija pradapita. I am the father of everyone. He tells. He is declaring it openly, I am the father of everyone. But the problem is, we are like those arrogant children who have abandoned the parents and have come to this material world for enjoy madi. Yes, we have come for that. We have come here, for enjoyment. And you know what? We will realize somehow the other day. सब करके होने के बाद then we'll realize, बचा क्या है लाइफ में? सब कुछ तो हो गया. What is remaining? Then we come for Gita class. You people are fortunate, you have come in your bachelor life itself. I have seen, day before yesterday, I was having a meeting with Harikshit. So we were having a meeting and I was telling him, youth boys are the most worst, ungrateful, useless people who come for the session. Because they are not in search of anything. They just come, prasad hai, ye hai, thoda bahut acha lagta hai session mein. But the ones who are married and having kids, they are actually searching for something in life which is higher. Because सब कुछ हो गया life में. Everything is done. Nice job is there, wife is there, kids are there, big bungalows are there, cars, everything is there set. So when they come to here, they are so very attentive and they are in search of Guru. They are in search of the Lord. I have clearly seen that difference. Clearly seen the difference between the two. Youth boys have been searching. अभी तो पूरा life बचा है ना, explore करना है. But then you know what? We are the most fortunate people. Because at this stage, we don't have much responsibilities and this and that. We can go deep in bhakti. That they don't have. One of the father was telling me, I was telling chanting अच्छा हो रहा है. तो chanting तो मैं करता हूँ सुबह, लेकिन मेरी छोटी बच्ची वो टॉयलेट में जाती है, पॉटी करती है, बोलते पापा आइए धोइए. तो मुझे जाना पड़ता है, फिर स्नान करके आओ, फिर chanting करो. तो उसमें बहुत टाइम निकल जाता है. Then I was thinking, my God, every day I get exclusive 2 hours to chant my 16 rounds. Sitting at one place. And there's no one who calls me Papa aake do. Yes? Can you imagine that? Our situation? But then the person who don't utilize such situation, he is F-O-O-L. Fool of English. And the one who utilizes that situation, he is fool of Hindi. where he can offer himself to the Lord. Yes. So in this way, Harsha Shok, he spoke the naked truth. And here, this is what is the naked truth, that we read. And finally he says, I have had millions of so-called parents. How can I accept these two people as my father and mother? So he flatly denied. And the child spoke. Okay, so tell me now, what was child speaking, if you have understood? I put questions to understand, have you people understood or not? I gave one full Gita course class. Okay. After the entire Gita course class, one lady came to me and she was very happy and she was like, Prabhuji, thank you very much. I'm so happy. Your classes have enlightened me so much that I started a new business. मैं बोला बिजनेस के बारे में मैंने क्लास में बताया था कि मैं चैंटिंग के बारे में बता रहा हूँ. So you never know. People what they take they only know. किसी they will be फंसे हो रहेंगे किसी चीज़ में and then इसमें अपना interpretation देख के उसका solution खुद ले लेंगे. So I thought questions are good. पढ़िए.
He refused to accept anyone as mother or father except the Supreme Lord. Although he had millions of so-called parents, he accepted Chitraketu as his best father. A pure soul has no connection with the material body that he receives from parents. Jiva is an eternal being, son of the Supreme Lord, but he enters into a temporary material body given by parents to serve the Supreme Lord.
Yes. A and D. See? See? चलिए आप बोल रहे तो सी नहीं चलिए रख लीजिए. Did you understand? A pure soul has no connection with material body. Is it correct? Explain. How? इतना सेशन अटेंड किया, शर्म करो, कुछ तो बोलो. They are the mediators, okay. They are the instruments. Anything else? Here it is said that he has no connection with the material body. So do we have any connection with this material body?
Just as we change clothes, we change body.
Correct. That's what Krishna is telling in Bhagavad Gita 2nd chapter, Shloka 22. Vasamsi jirnani yatha vihaya navani grinati naroparani tatha sharirani vihaya jirnani anyani samyati navani dehi. He says, like we change our clothes, we remove the old clothes, put on the new one. Similarly, the soul changes the body at the time of death. And so we don't have much connection with this body, to be very frank. No, we don't have much connection. Because we are spirit soul, we are not this body. And we keep changing the bodies. We keep changing the bodies. If we don't do bhakti nicely, we keep changing the bodies. If we do bhakti nicely, we will go to Krishna. Yes? Correct. That is B. B is correct, no? Oh, no, sorry. He accepted Chitraketu is best father. बहुत रोया मेरे लिए, so his best father. No. A, C and D. Yes. Continuing the naked truth of life. He continues saying, in this material world, which is life, which is like a swift flowing river, all people become friends, relatives and enemies in due course of time. They also act neutrally and in many other relationships. But despite these various transactions, no one is permanently related. By the way, whatever I've put, no, these are some shlokas in English. ये आपने ऐसे टाइप करके नहीं डाला है, कॉपी पेस्ट किया मैंने directly from Bhagavatam. So here, maybe this we might not understand. I'll give the example of a train. See, when we are traveling in a train, say you are traveling for 2 days, say you are going to north, from Bangalore to, say, Mathura, Vrindavan, or Delhi, wherever, it will take 36 hours to 40 hours. So you are 2 days in the train, 2 nights you are in the train. Now, you are there in a place where 6 people can sit, 6 berths are there, and then here also 2. Now, what happens is as people keep coming, no? And then when everyone starts talking, there's a relationship that builds. फिर ये अपने बैग से निकालेंगे सब खाने की चीज़ें, and then आप भी लीजिए, आप भी लीजिए, नहीं आप भी लीजिए, आप, and then no, they start saying, आप कहाँ जा रहे हैं? मैं तो यहाँ आओ आप यहाँ जा रहे हैं, मैं भी वहीं, मेरे रिलेटिव्स वहीं रहते हैं. And then the different talk begins. And this is a nice relationship that develops. And now one of the person, you are going to the last stop, but this person wants to get down 5 stops before, and then he gets ready. ठीक है फिर मिलते हैं, अच्छा लगा आपसे मिलके, मिलते हैं कभी. He getting down, like नहीं आप ऐसे नहीं जा सकते छोड़ के मुझे. We are now having a relationship. You cannot leave this place. बैठिए. Can you do that? You'll get down. Simple. Everyone will get down, and will remain at the end looking outside the window. This is exactly what is material life all about. We are in a train journey, and people keep getting in and getting out. Before us, some people were there, who are called as parents, elder siblings. Then we entered the train. And then after that, few more people entered from another train to our train, who are called as wife and kids and other relatives. And then, people keep getting down from the station. When their station comes, people keep getting down. Sometimes people who were before us, they'll get down before, or we will get down before. But everyone has to get down. Everyone has a different destination. Everyone is on a different journey. We cannot catch anyone in this world. सब अपने अपने जर्नी में. Everyone is independent. Everyone. Externally we might be dependent. एकदम ऐसा पकड़, he is my father, she is my mother, or she is my brother, she is my wife, and they are my kids. Nothing doing. Everyone is on a journey, their own journey. ऐसा कभी नहीं होगा that we tell them, मैंने इतना पाप किया है, can you please suffer on my behalf? पापा अपना देख लो, आपकी करनी आप भरिए. I want to enjoy my life. So everyone has their own journey. So this particular statement is a very, very important statement, because all of us is flowing in this river. Very nicely it is given. Millions of living entities come to this world, and all of them are given a certain type of body. A few living entities, say 5 or 6, are put in a group called a family, and they stay together for a period of time. They are then separated by death, never to meet again. मिलने वाले हैं कभी? Someone dies in the family? No. अगर मिलेंगे भी, we will not recognize also who this person is. Yes. During the journey you make friends with him, but once the destination comes, you go your way and he goes his way. This is the case with families also. But once a living entity is put in a particular family, becomes attached to others as father, mother, brother, sister, etc., because of falsely identifying himself with the body. This attachment makes the living entity undergo cycle of repeated birth and death. You know why we come back? Because of this. And it's a known fact that the next life, family members, almost they come together again. The wife will become the husband, husband will become the wife, or kids will become the parent, beat the parents nicely next life when they become the kids. Because the karma is there, no? When we are attached, the karma aspect is also there, that give and take is there. So we come back like that. So we'll have a drama. We had a drama on this. You people were not there for any spiritual retreat, not till now? You attended any spiritual retreat? Srirangapatna? कौन सा spiritual retreat? Tirupati, Tirupati गए थे. ठीक है, this time we'll be having. So last time we did a nice drama. So a person, he was so attached to his family member's father. He died, and then he takes the birth as a dog in that family. And he's not going away only. He's like, no, my kids are there inside. What if some dacoit comes, some chore comes? I'll guard this house. और वो कुत्ता बाहर ही घूमता था ऐसे. And one day he was barking so much that the son came out, the previous life son. That boy came out, and then he started beating the dog with a stick. Shoo, shoo, shoo. And the dog is not going only, he's sitting there. So like this, attachment. क्या करेंगे ऐसे attach होके? Waste. All this attachment is waste. It's the same attachment we have for Krishna. Arey, we'll go back home. We'll go back home. This very life. But attachment utna, it's like too much that is there. Sometimes I tell my students कि जितना तुम अपने बॉस के लिए काम कर रहे हो, अगर अल्टीमेट बॉस के लिए काम करोगे चले जाओगे. With one of my student, he came late night, 2 o'clock. बोला अरे भाई तू इतना काम कर रहा है. If you work same, just imagine if at night till night 2 o'clock you're chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna will cry, बेटा कितना करोगे, सो जाओ अभी, or come back to me and I'll take you. This is a very important thing to note. The soul continued speaking. Just as gold and other commodities are continually transferred from one place to another through buying and selling, so the living entity, as the result of their karma, wanders throughout the universe, being injected into various bodies and different species of life through the semen of one father after another. Like for example, the gold, when it is, say you have some gold and then you sell it. And then now that gold, whatever is there, gold coins or gold whatever, now that will go to another person and another, right? Now no one will be attached to that gold. Pata nahi chala gaya. Will you keep thinking, pata nahi abhi kisne pehna hoga wo haar? No, just goes like that. We as living entities, we keep going from one place to another, one house to another, one country to another. And this country mein we take birth, this family mein we take birth, we consider that family as ours. And we forget the eternal personality, eternal parents, Shri Shri Radha and Krishna. We forget them. And अपने ही family डूबे रहते हैं. फिर खुद की family बनाते हैं. And then we are again उसमें डूबे रहते हैं. And there is no time for practicing bhakti. Question. Life in this material world is compared to a train journey, as we discussed. Padhiye.
Nobody can be permanently related in this world, unlike our permanent relation with Supreme Lord, of whom we are all part and parcels. We are all related to each other, become attached to each other because of identifying with our particular bodies, but are separated when time causing us to. In train journey, you stay and travel together happily. In the same way, in material world also we all stay with relatives and friends and live together happily. In train journey, you begin a new relation with someone and end it before getting down. Despite various transactions, no one is permanently related.
A and D.
A and D. Yes. So that's what is life all about. Okay, analogy given for the movement of soul from one place to another. Bataiye. First one. Padhiye.
When gold and other commodities are transferred from one person to another, despite buying and selling, the gold shines in all situations. Similarly, the soul shines as a living spark in all bodies. As a result of karma, the jiva wanders throughout the universe injected into a material body, like gold is kept in a safe and beautiful box of velvet. When things are brought and sold, they move from one to another. Similarly, the wandering jiva is born in one family first and keeps moving from one to another. As a result of karma, the jiva wanders throughout the universe injected into various material bodies, like gold is transferred from one person to another.
इस कॉन्टेक्स्ट में बोलिए. In this context, which is the right option? C and D. Yes. So you keep going from one place to another, like the gold, or any coins also if you consider. It keeps going from one place to another. And finally, the Jivatma, he speaks the last few dialogues, and he says that how Lord Krishna is our real father. He says, and this is an explanation that is given the Prabhupada also. The Bhagavad Gita explains that it is not by any father or mother that living entity is given birth. Is it so? Father and mother don't give. There are times when male and female, they are uniting and they don't want to have kids. They use all the possible ways to avoid. But still at times the female becomes pregnant. And the male and female are trying, n number of things. Still they are not able to beget kids. So just male and female coming together and uniting does not beget kids. This has to be clear. Yes? Do you agree or not? Or you have some argument for this? This is a fact. Now I have some of my students, because of lifestyle or whatever, husband and wife, they are not able to beget kids. बेचारे इतने हॉस्पिटल जा रहे, इतना ऑपरेशन ये वो, and artificial ways of begetting kids, नहीं हो रहा है. Not able to beget kids. So it's not just father and mother coming together and having sex, will beget kids. Lord's sanction has to be there for that. Without that it will not happen. So it is said that it is not by any father or mother that the living entity is given birth. The living entity's true identity is completely separate from the so-called father and mother. By the laws of nature, the soul is forced to enter the semen of a father and is injected into the womb of a mother. He cannot directly control the kind of father he will get. Did you choose? फिर सब अम्मा नहीं चूज करते या बिल गेट्स को चूज करते हैं. This is automatically determined by his past karma. The laws of karma force him to go to different fathers and mothers, just like commodity that is bought and sold. The living entity sometimes takes shelter of animal father and mother, and sometimes a human father and mother. Sometimes he accepts a father and mother among birds, and sometimes he accepts a demigod father and mother in heavenly planets. As the soul transmigrates to different bodies, everyone in every form of life, be it human, animal, tree or demigod, gets a father and mother. Everyone in this world has father and mother. This is not very difficult. The real difficulty is to obtain a spiritual father as bona fide spiritual master. Therefore, the duty of human being is to search out a spiritual master, for under his guidance, one can break the cycle of birth and death and return to his original home and attain his original father, Sri Krishna, in the spiritual world. So real search in life is to search for a spiritual guide, a spiritual master who will guide us back home, back to Godhead. Very, very important. Yes. Oh, there's a question. What determines the choice of parents for a jiva? Simple. Read the options.
His activities in previous lives, his voluntary choice based on his desires, his good luck as awarded by Supreme Lord, his attachment to his family brings him back to same family.
A? D. Yes. Choice to hai nahi kisi ke paas. What is the real difficulty for a jiva wandering in different bodies like human, animal, tree or demigod? Padhi?
To obtain a mother and father, to obtain a mom and his of his choice, to obtain the position of demigods, to obtain a spiritual father, a bona fide spiritual master.
That's the most difficult thing to get. How can we understand that Krishna is our real father? Someone read?
The living entity takes shelter of various temporary material bodily forms with which he has no relationship. His only relationship is with that of Supreme Lord Krishna. The mother and father appear intimately related to the living entity owing to giving birth, but they only act as instruments in giving a temporary material body to Jeev. Other than that, mother and father has no relation with the Jeev, but Krishna's relation with the Jeev is eternal. The living entity, son of the Supreme Lord, is injected into various bodies in different species of life through the semen of one father after another, but none of these fathers have any relation to Jeev. The scriptures clearly declare that Supreme Lord is supposed to be the seed-giving father of all living entities.
B, C, D.
Huh? B, C, D. What about A? The living entity takes shelter of various temporary material bodies. His only relation with Supreme Lord. All of them. A, B, C, D. Okay, what is the duty of a human being? What do you?
To serve his parents as an ideal son, since they have given him material birth, to understand that his actual relation is with Supreme Lord and serve him. To know the real difficulty is to get ideal parents and therefore serve them gratefully. To not identify with the temporary material body received from parents, but utilize it to serve the Supreme Lord, who is the original father of all living entities.
B and D. Yes, we have to serve the Supreme Father. Many times this is forgotten and people say this duty, that duty. But what about the eternal duty that we have? Who cares for that? Right? And now the climax. The living being is eternal. No, he continued. Who? Harsha Shok, the living entity. Yes. And has no relation with so-called fathers and mothers. He falsely accepts himself as their son and acts affectionately. After he dies, however, the relationship is finished. I have seen when people die, वो टाइम पे रोते हैं. ठीक है, 1-2 दिन भी रोते हैं, 1 हफ्ता भी रोते हैं. उसके बाद डन. कहीं फोटो टंगा होता है, डन. कोई ऐसा रोता है क्या पूरा ऐसा याद कर कर के चले गए. नो. It's this is how the material world is all about. When people say move on, बोलने की जरूरत नहीं होती, अपने आप से move on हो जाता है. They move on. Max to max अगर बहुत ही attached है कोई तो some months they will cry. Chalo, max to max till 1 year also. But surely not more than that. Very rare. Very rare. Someone for months and years thinking and crying. Very rare. Under these circumstances, one should not be falsely involved with jubilation and lamentation. The living entity is eternal and imperishable. He has no beginning and no end, nor does he take birth or die. We are living entities, we don't take birth, we don't die. The living being is equal in quality to the Supreme Lord, both are spiritual personalities. This is a very important thing. But because the living entity is so small, he is prone to be illusioned by material energy, and thus he creates bodies for himself according to his different desires and activities. See, we and the Lord, we are spiritual both, but he is Vibhu and we are Anu. He is Sindhu, we are Bindu. He is ocean and we are drop. So ocean is salty, drop of the ocean will also be salty. Qualitatively we are one, but quantitatively we are different. And that's why we easily get in Maya. Lord can never come in Maya. Why? Because Lord has created Maya. He can never come in Maya. So Bindu gets into Maya. He is small in his quantity. He get into Maya. And that's what it's all about in this world. Right? This world is like that. Full of Maya. Full of illusion. Therefore, after telling all this, he gave a lot of big class. And then suddenly the boy became silent. And again he left the body. Abhi bataiye, what will the case of Chitraketu and Kritadyuti? Huh? Relax. They also get detached. They also got detached from the child. They did the Antin Samskar. What do you think about the co-wives? Unka kya hua? Huh? Did they reveal the secret? In Bollywood movies they don't, but Bhagavatam they do. They revealed. After hearing all this, how cannot they reveal? They revealed that we did that. They revealed. They also lamented. But still, Chitraketu and Kritadyuti will not be affected. Because according to the karma of the living entity, all this is happening. Alright? So last few questions and we end for today. Someone loses mother, father, grandmother and cries out loudly due to fear of being separated from them. So what is your understanding?
One should know that loss of such relatives is a great loss because nobody can match the love one has received from such relatives. One should know that such mother, father or grandmother are like walking gods and their loss is an irreparable loss for the living entity. The imperishable living entity falsely accepts himself as a relative and acts affectionately. One should not be falsely involved with jubilation and lamentation in this situation. Union and separation of living entities in this world happens by the force of time, but no one is permanently related. Therefore, there is no reason to lament. Instead, one should revive and strengthen one's genuine relationship with Supreme Lord through Bhakti Yoga.
Now just tell me, by understanding Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, when we lose our loved ones, if he has realized these concepts, this tattvas, will he be going through that jubilation and lamentation? He'll remain equipoised. Because he knows, कहाँ गए? कहीं होंगे इधर ही. कुछ भक्ति तो की है नहीं तो कहीं होंगे इधर ही आजकल. कहाँ जाएंगे? And when someone writes, स्वर्गवास हो गया उनका. पूरा लाइफ नरक वाले काम किए. स्वर्गवास हो गया. स्वर्ग कैसे जा सकते हैं? A spiritualist, entire perspective changes. Entire perspective. And he becomes so strong within that he can help people to change. He can help people to come out of their low phases of life. So this strength all of us we need to get by our spiritual practice. Next question. The Supreme Lord awards various material bodies to a living entity they desire. So what should be our understanding by this statement? Padhiye?
But the Lord's true desire is that the conditional soul goes out of the cycle of birth and death and return
Back to Godhead.
Because it is the Lord's true desire to offer the conditional soul with the whatever body they desire. Thus these super souls seated in their hearted
Hearts.
awarded them. But the Lord desire is not to see living entities accepting different material bodies, so that he can remain suffering in the prison house of the material existence.
Yes. So is Lord avoiding as a chakar? Then what is the answer? A. But the Lord's true desire is that conditioned souls goes out of the cycle of birth and death and go back home, back to Godhead. This is what the Lord wants. Yes. And then Lord's desire is not to see living entities accepting different material bodies. Correct? A and C. Anything else? Say, na? A and C. Lord is not happy with that. You have anything? You're confused.
He avoids them in option B.
So that, where?
Last line can say he avoids them. That's incorrect because of which option B is wrong.
B.
B.
Because it is Lord's true desire to offer the conditioned souls with whatever body they desire. It's not Lord's desire. It's Lord's true desire. Lord's true desire is not this. Lord's true desire is that every living entity should go back home, back to Godhead. He does not want us to be here in this material world. Why is he coming and giving Bhagavad Gita? Why is he doing his Leelas? Why is he sending so many gurus? Only to take us back home, back to Godhead. No? And why has he made this world like this, Dukkhalaya Mahashashvatam? Because he does not want us to be here. Sometimes people ask, oh Bhagwan, तो दुनिया बनाने वाले काहे को ऐसी दुनिया बनाई? क्योंकि दुनिया बनाने वाले को नहीं चाहिए कि आप यहाँ रहे. Simple. He wants us to back home, back to Godhead. So this is what is the naked truth of life. That the boy spoke, and I just repeated. Any questions you want to ask?
प्रभुजी, जैसे हम लोग कोणत्या होते हैं birth, death and disease,
Old age.
old age. So which one is more painful? Like death is 60,000 scorpion bite every time. So what about the birth and death?
So all of them are painful, but birth and death, they are very, very painful. Birth is also very painful. Bhagavatam describes 3rd canto, where the living entity is there in the womb of the mother. It's like a small sac. He's very congested, compressed. He's bitten by various worms, and he's not able to. And whatever mother eats, he gets affected by that. If some acidic thing is there, his body burns because of that, and therefore, the living entity is going through a tough phase in the womb, and isliye he keeps struggling with that, and that's how he beats sometimes. And mother is very happy. Arey mara. And he's struggling inside. So something like that. So everything is painful. However, death is more painful as compared to. But birth is also very painful, but as comparatively, because that attachment is developed so much. Death mein chhodna hai sab kuch. And at the same time, old age is also very, very painful, because he's seeing that now I am going to leave this body. That's very, very painful. Disease तो फिर भी ठीक है. If it's not a very chronic disease, still it's okay.
That pain is related to the thoughts.
Subtle body. It is related to mind intelligence, that body.
In Narad, we have many sages here, but why Narad Muni always giving big personality to the knowledge, and he is looks like this scripture looks like he's a supreme sage.
He is called as Brahma Rishi or Deva Rishi. He is topmost among the sages, and Lord sends him to deliver great personalities. हमारे लाइफ में तो नहीं आएंगे. But he goes to many, many great personalities like Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruv Maharaj, Amrish Yudhishthir Maharaj. All of them, they're all accepting Narad Muni as spiritual master. Yes, very great personality, very attached to Lord Krishna, always singing their glories.
नारद मुनि क्या भगवान की अवतार है?
He is, we'll have a class in level 3. There are 6 types of avatars. There's something called Shakti-Avesh avatar. He's Shakti-Avesh avatar, where he's empowered by the Lord. He's not Lord, but he's empowered by the Lord. वो deep topic है एकदम. We'll discuss that level 3 में.
और प्रभु जी उसमें खाली ब्लड जो है ब्लड लेते हैं तो जो सोल होती है वो सीमेन के थ्रू आती है बट मैंने शायद कहीं सुना याद नहीं आ रहा है इसलिए कंफर्म कर रहा हूँ कि जब फ्यूजन होता है स्पर्म का ओवम के साथ उस टाइम पे मतलब आत्मा एंटर करती है.
No, it comes through the sperm. Therefore, the father is called as seed giving. He gives the seed.
तो हम लोग क्या अभी भी मतलब बहुत सारी आत्माएं कैरी कर रहे हैं.
Yes.
ऐसा?
Yes. So actually, how it happens is the living entities who fall from the upper planetary system, they come through the rains. ये पूरा cycle दिया है शास्त्र में. Then they enter the plants. Then they get into the grains, and when we eat grains, they are inside us. But obviously, based on a lot of karma and all that, then that's how a specific living entity will enter. Yes. Therefore, it is said, losing semen is a great sin. No? We should not lose semen. So, either beat anything for that matter. Therefore, in Shastras also it is that sex has to be done only to beget kids, not for time pass and enjoyment. So, when we understand these different tattvas, then we'll understand why.
तो लेकिन सेक्स को शादी के बाद तो मतलब फॉर्मलाइज कर दिया गया ठीक है
To beget kids.
जस्ट टू बेगेट किड्स अदरवाइज
हाँ, अदरवाइज क्यों चाहिए? इसलिए तो मैं यहाँ आया. अगर वो भी नहीं कर सकता तो क्या करूँ जाके? That's the principle that is there. अब जिनको फॉलो करना है वो करें. So, because this is what you asked, that question is very important because we have the responsibility. So we cannot just waste semen. Therefore, this Kali Yuga is so dirty that anything and everything around provokes to lose semen. And people who are not sense controlled, who are not spiritually enlightened, they get into all that pornography, masturbation, this and that, prostitution. And this whatever co-live culture has come up. Oh, that's actually people don't know how much they're going to suffer because of all this. This co-live culture and all, people don't know how much they're going to suffer because of all this. If any one of you are into all this, think about it. You have to stop it, and many people come and take our help. We are ready to help to solve these different issues, because it's not that we willingly got into all this. Because of friends, association, this and that nonsense, we got into all this. Obviously now the mobile is handy, everything is handy. So, but we have to take help and come out of this chakra that we are stuck in. If at all anyone is stuck in addiction of something like this, we will come out of this. Then in future, for both it will be very helpful. If someone wants to remain a monk, it will be very helpful. If someone wants to get married also, it will be very helpful. A person who keeps losing the semen every now and then, he cannot beget strong kids. He cannot beget strong. They will be always unhealthy. They will not be able to do much. They will suffer like him. Kids will suffer like him, because the body will not be strong. Like that. And the ladies who are getting into all this nonsense, they will suffer like anything. They will not be able to have nice breast milk. No. Breast milk is the most nutritious food for the living entity to develop nicely. They will not be able to give that nice milk. Kali Yuga क्या करे? इसलिए आगे चलते चलते the lifespan is going to become 20 years. 20 years max. इसलिए अभी निकल जाओ, टाइम है. Any other question? Okay, it's already 7:40. So we'll stop here. So I hope you got some nice things from today's class. Level 2 लग रहा है? ठीक है. So go deeper in bhakti. Only when you go deep in bhakti, you'll be able to realize all this. नहीं तो ये बस ऐसे क्लास के अंदर will be out of Maya. As soon as we go outside, we are in Maya. तो प्रभु जी का काम है बोलना, भागवतम का क्लास है बोलना, हमारा काम है जो करना वो करना. We'll get into that mode, right? Just a minute. So every day, make sure you chant minimum 4 to 8 rounds. There's no question of missing. Try your best. See, whatever instructions we are giving, these instructions we got from our superiors, we are repeating, and works. The process works. And every day, watching those Shloka Day videos and understanding and making notes, attending these sessions, doing some seva in the center, when you go from here, all this counts. Wednesday sessions we have. As I last time, Prasad prayers यहीं किया था ना मैंने class. आप लोग को ही दिया था ना. So having prasadam is a very, very important thing. So modify your schedule in such a way, and modify your place of stay in such a way that you will be able to come here and take prasad. Facility is there, utilize. आगे मिलेगा नहीं मिलेगा, we don't know. If you shift somewhere, to some corner of the world, you might not get. So utilize and advance faster, so that you'll become a nice devotee. And if you're a nice devotee, then it's up to you. If you want to be a renunciant, it will help you. If you want to be a grahastha getting married, that will help you. And if you are not becoming a nice devotee, don't become both. If you become a renunciant, you will be a headache for the authorities there. If you get married, you'll spoil the life of the entire family. But you cannot remain like that. So one of the places you have to go. So you have to become a nice devotee. You have no option. ठीक है, थैंक यू वेरी मच. श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय. जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. July 8th and 9th we are going for spiritual retreat. Okay, we have to go and finalize. We are discovering a new place, so